let me go ahead and introduce myself again. I'm Valerie Kiseloff, Senior Director of Admissions here at Embry-Riddle. I'd really like to thank the College of Arts and Sciences for including us in on this information session this afternoon, or this morning or this evening, wherever we may find you from, to share some really great information with all of you about the graduate admissions process. So we will go ahead and get started. Okay, so as a current Embry-Riddle undergraduate student, you are likely thinking about the fact that you are close to degree completion, certainly an exciting time as you progress through your academic career. As you're approaching degree completion with Embry-Riddle, now is the time where you can start thinking about what's next for you to take your education and your career to the next level. You don't have to wait to consider applying if you're thinking about a graduate program with Embry-Riddle. As a current student, you are able to submit your application even before you complete your undergraduate degree with us, which we usually recommend doing so within the last 2 classes, as your application is valid for 1 year from your date of application submission. So if you're thinking about getting started, like I said, it's not too early to begin the process. We'll talk about some of the next steps and some of our admissions requirements. So for entry into our graduate programs, you might be wondering about how and where you might get started, which are all great questions. The first step in the process is going to be to submit your application for admission. You're also going to want to think about which program of study you're interested in, so you can review our available programs and determine what might be the right match for you based on your undergraduate degree, maybe based on your career aspirations. You can access our full admissions requirements using that QR code on the bottom right side of the slide. And to be considered for admission into our graduate programs, applicants will need to demonstrate a cumulative grade point average of a 2.5 or higher in their baccalaureate studies. If you have any college credit at the graduate level, which you may or may not have, we would be looking for a cumulative grade point average of a 3.0 or higher. And while we don't require the graduate entrance exams for the majority of our programs, or those that are in the College of Arts and Sciences, if you're considering a program outside of the COAS, for example, maybe a graduate engineering program, you may find that the GRE may be required in some of those instances. But as a current Embry-Riddle student, we will have full access to your undergraduate record with Embry-Riddle, and we will be able to see your undergraduate degree and when it's been conferred, so that we can easily consider you for admission into a program. So just keep in mind that the admissions requirements might differ between programs of study. If you have questions about a specific degree program and what the admissions criteria might be for your circumstances, you can always work with your admissions counselor through the process, who will be happy to help you navigate that. So once you've taken the most important step, which is submitting your application for admission, I'll kind of walk you through what the rest of the application admissions process is going to look like. After you submit an application, you can expect to hear from an admissions counselor, typically within a few business days. They'll usually reach out to you to advise next steps, what documentation you may need to submit for consideration for admission. If you happen to be considering utilizing financial aid, if you haven't already filled out the FAFSA, which is the free application for federal student aid, you may want to think about submitting that so that you can kind of get ahead of the game. We've listed the code up there for you should you need it. But as a current student, you've probably also already added @erau.edu as a trusted sender. We encourage you to do that. Check your spam filter to make sure that you're getting all the correspondence that should reach you. You certainly don't want to miss out on some important information, especially if you're awaiting an admission decision, which usually comes about 2 to 3 days after all of your documentation has been received. After you've been admitted, the next steps beyond that, you'll receive an initial advising report that's going to outline all of your degree plan and what courses are needed. And from there, you'll also be assigned an academic advisor who is going to be a go-to resource for everything from planning your degree progression to enrolling in coursework, sourcing your course materials, and really everything in between. So it'll be very similar to the experience that you've had as an undergraduate student with Embry-Riddle. So I know it's kind of short and sweet, but I think you're probably familiar with us as an institution already if you're a current student. What I do want to share is that if you have any questions about what program might be the best option for you, you're going to hear a little bit more about them today, but we encourage you to schedule a one-on-one applicant information session with our team. There's a QR code on the top left corner that'll take you to the online application where you can also schedule a call if you're interested. When you do go ahead and submit your admissions application, you're going to want to use a fee waiver. You are eligible for the ERAU grad fee waiver, which will waive the application fee for any students who apply to a graduate program within 1 year of earning their Embry-Riddle undergraduate degree. So some key information there, the QR code to the application, the fee waiver, ties it all together. Really appreciate you joining us for this session within the overall session to learn a little bit more about admissions requirements. And again, if you have any questions throughout the process, you can certainly connect with an admissions counselor or schedule a one-on-one information session for any questions you might have.